Oil is spiking this morning after Iran shot down a U.S. military drone, raising investors' fears of a military confrontation between Tehran and Washington. And we are seeing oil trading right now at $55.98. Yahoo Finance's Jared Blikre on the couch with us for a bit more. Jared, there's still questions about whether this was actually an international space or Iranian airspace, but help us understand, the impact on oil because of just how key this region is to the overall oil patch.
The bottom line is this took place on or near the Straits of Hormuz, a key bottleneck for the price of oil, where almost 40% of the maritime oil flows through. That's just an astounding figure, and that's why we're seeing this outsized move, up more than 4% on the day, up 11% off the June lows, so quite a rebound after a precipitous decline in May. Now, you put all these factors together, you have geopolitics, we have the upcoming OPEC Plus meeting with Russia. We just got a date on that. It's going to be July 1st and July 2nd. Iran was the last holdout, and so this meeting could be contentious. OPEC votes on a unanimous basis, so if Iran were to withhold, that could spell trouble for the alliance there. Not that it doesn't have problems already. I could talk about that all day. But look, the bottom line is that crude oil is going higher now. We saw when the tankers were hit a couple weeks ago, the question was, is this all going to blow over? Because we've seen this situation before. It kind of did blow over at the time, but these things are incremental, and so it's just one more, it's just one more thing adding on to another. And if this does end up with a full-blown conflagration in the Straits of Hormuz, we could see a serious spike in crude oil. I said at the time we'd probably see Brent at $100. Now we're not seeing anything like that. $100. Yeah, for Brent, which means
if there's a full-blown conflict.
Yeah, because the oil supply would be extremely disrupted. The fact that we're not seeing anything close to that right now means that there's still potential for cooler heads to prevail.
So we are still far from summer drivers freaking out. We have seen sometimes when that happens, but obviously it would have to go way up for us to get into one of those little mini crises that have occasionally happened in the last few years where suddenly it is extremely pricey and you're seeing the long lines and you're seeing people freak out.
Yeah, we're probably going to see a little bit of a bump in gas prices because those react a lot more quickly to rises in crude oil prices than they do to declines in crude oil prices, but nothing too serious just yet.
And Jared, you mentioned the OPEC meeting that's happening next month. So the plan is to cut 1.2 million barrels per day of output. Do you think they're going to end up doing that?
It's contentious because Russia really doesn't want to commit to that. There's evidence that their economy is suffering because of the crude oil cuts that they're already enacting. So this would just be a continuation of the status quo. Consider the factor that you have a lot more shale oil set to come online from Brazil, Norway, and Canada, and that really increases the calculation that if OPEC really wants to stay competitive with the price of oil, they're going to have to cut even more than that. And I don't think Russia's going to go along with that. So Russia wants to be flexible. I just see this meeting as probably going to be a disappointment for them.
And Jared, very quickly on gold,
yes.
We've often seen that as a safe haven play. What are we seeing in terms of the moves there on the back of the Fed decision yesterday?
Well, that was just incredible. I was watching the Asian Open last night. It almost touched $1,400 an ounce. We haven't seen that price in about 5 years. And so going forward, it's clear that the Fed they have a hair trigger on their liquidity bazooka, if you want to call it that. And crude oil and gold and all commodities are getting a boost because of that. That's another factor. Just about the only thing not affecting these commodity prices today is the Slack direct listing.
Okay. Right. We'll leave it at that. All right, Jared, appreciate your insight.
Jared, we'll have to tell the Bitcoin people that have been doing the ad campaign that says drop gold.
Yeah, right.
They're wrong about gold right now. Thanks.